Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This video, we are looking at the PGA picks for this week. It's the WGC event, so no cut. Have 73 golfers in the field. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys my core plays. Um, like I try to do every week for PGA. Sometimes I don't get a chance to make a video, so I post them on Twitter. But I just wanted to go ahead and make a video for this week. So let's get started. As always, I really appreciate everybody watching. If you guys enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter. You can check out the website. Check out Prize Picks if you play over there. All that stuff is in the description. So first thing we can look at is the course itself. It is you have a 4 par 5s on this course, but they are pretty long par 5s. And I'm just looking at the first round for tomorrow. It starts off, first hole starts off with a 428. So we have some decently sized par 4s. We have a couple of big par 5s, a 606 and a 605, and then we have a couple of par 3s. Just looking at this course, another thing you notice is a bunch of water. So that is going to definitely makes trouble for some golfers. I know some golfers that have a ton of trouble with water, like Gary Woodland. So thankfully he's not in this field. But like some other golfers that you can avoid that have struggles with water or just don't hit the ball that far, because 6-10 par 5s. We probably won't see a lot of eagles on these par 5s. You'll probably see a lot of birdies. So another thing I want to look at is birdie percentage. This is pretty important on no cut events, just because even if your golfer struggles for a day, if they still manage to make some birdies in the other days, they'll be very fine. And at the top here, we have Justin Thomas, Patrick Reed, all these golfers in this field. I really like Justin Thomas to bounce back this week. He's leading everybody so far in birdie percentage, even with his terrible performance last week. We have Palmer, who's been absolutely killing it. He's very cheap, checking in at third. Joaquin Neiman seems to be very popular this week. You have Schauffele, who's just a absolutely consistent, like, top 10 machine. Struggles to get the wins, but really, really consistent golfer. Then we have other guys that are also looking pretty solid with, like, wanted to go to John Rahm, no problem with any of the top end studs. I like Answers, only like 6,800 on DraftKings. That price tag is really nice. We have in the top 60, we still have Terrell Hatton, who I think is one of my favorites this week. Sebastian Munoz is also another cheap guy that we can look to. Looking at the DraftKings pricing, you have Dustin Johnson 11.6, two golfers above 11,000. They both are playing really well. Dustin Johnson has just been amazing. He struggled in the fourth round last week. A lot of wind in the fourth round or third round, which kind of made it really tough for a lot of golfers. But he kind of came back. He had a chance to win, but he still finished in top 10. He's just been unstoppable recently. He's really expensive. So I don't think I'll get to him just because I like a few other cheaper golfers. But if you wanted to, there's no problem. Like, I wouldn't stop anybody from playing Dustin Johnson. Schauffele is a guy that I always play. He is 10.8, so more expensive than Justin Thomas, more expensive than Rory, but he's kind of been deserving of that. He makes top 10s very regularly, makes top 20s almost every time, and it's a guy that, especially with the amount of birdies that he makes, he looks like a strong play in the 10K range. I like Justin Thomas at 10.5. He's probably my favorite 10K option. Him, Schauffele, Rory, and then Cantlay. In the 9K range, I like Terrell Hatton the most. He's 9,600. Yeah, Bryson, who was really bad last week. Him and Thomas and McIlroy all struggled last week, but DeChambeau is one of the few guys that might have a chance at some eagles on these monsters par 5s. Finau is really consistent player, makes cuts, can contend, so he's expensive. So I like a couple of cheaper golfers. Like, I would rather go to Hatton. I'd rather go to Hovland or Berger or even Reed. So far I really like Justin Thomas and Hatton as my two pay-ups. Like Schauffele, I like also like Hovland at 9,400, just because he's a guy that's really coming on strong, makes cuts, makes top 10s. He's finished 5th, 6th, and 2nd recently, and those are some tough events for him, Genesis, and then the Farmers. I really think he's really playing his best golf of his career right now, and he's still pretty cheap at 94 compared to the upside he has. In the 8K range, there's a couple of pieces, but I think that I like going up and then going down. Like, don't have too much interest in this 8K range. I would look to Max Homa just because he's been absolutely lights out recently. But if he's going to be popular, then we can easily get off of him. I never really played Decky because I hate playing guys that cannot putt because nothing more frustrating than watching your guy miss a 5-foot putt, and that's something Hideki does very frequently. Adam Scott has one of the weirdest putting stances. Another guy that struggles putting. I think in the 8K range, if there was a few pieces that you wanted to look to, it's the cheaper guys. It's Joaquin Niemann at 81. It's Zalatoris at 8,000. And then maybe Scotty Scheffler. Like, I don't see myself going up to Sanjay or Fleetwood or Fitzpatrick. So I like Niemann and Zalatoris as a cheap plays in the 8K range. 7K range, I want to go a bit cheaper here. You have Justin Rose, who been kind of like struggling. He's kind of like him and just Jason Day, both priced similarly, both guys that haven't been playing their best golf. So I think I'll go to some better options here, like Ryan Palmer. You're getting a guy that's playing his best golf right now. He's finished in the top 5, 3 out of 5 events, makes cuts, and no cut event. He makes birdies, so I think he'll be able to contend in the top 20 this week. He's really cheap. Carlos Ortiz also having a really strong season so far. Missed the cut at Genesis, but 4th, 29th, 14th. He has had some big round fours to kind of push him into the top 20 recently. So he looks like a guy that we can look to at 73. I don't have interest in McIntyre, or I don't really get to Leishman, Garcia. Matthew Wolf's been struggling right now, so I don't really want to get to him either. Like, he hasn't been showing a top 20 upside recently, and he's still 76, so that's something you kind of want. So 7K range favorite guy is Ryan Palmer. I think you can look to Polkrack, or you can look to Kisner, just because Kisner is a guy that's just pretty steady. He makes cuts. He makes like top 30s, no cut events. So hopefully he'll be able to finish in the top 20. Pretty cheap here. He's had some good success at some of these WGC events. So I think he looks like a strong option. And then you have actually Woodland is in the field. He's $6,800. He's not a guy I'll get to just because the water is going to really scare me off. I like Answer a lot at 6,800. He's just really cheap. He's a guy that I played a lot a few months ago. He's been struggling a little bit, but I still think he has too much talent to be at this price tag. He missed a cut at Genesis, which isn't something I'm going to hold against him because a lot of top end golfers missed a cut with Thomas, McIlroy, Bryson. So he's still a guy that did finish top 5 at the American Express. He does get you in up to does have upside to get you in the top 20s, finish in the top 10, and he makes cuts. He's really cheap, so I think he is a very strong play this week. And then, I like him a ton more than Woodland, than Perez, Westwood. Not somebody I'll play. And then a guy that I always play is Sebastian Munoz. He has so much upside, even though he's not been playing his best golf recently. Did make the cut last week, but a couple of bad 3rd and 4th rounds. He started off strong, and then the wins came in round 3, which really knocked him back to the leaderboard. But 6,500 for a guy that does give you upside. The thing with him is he can miss some cuts, but he's a guy that does make birdies, and you don't have to worry about missing the cut this week. So your golfer's going to be in it. Hopefully, unless they absolutely shoot themselves in the foot the first couple rounds. But Munoz is a guy that tends to start off the gate pretty hot. He had one event where he birdied the first 7 holes. That was a couple months ago, or at least a few months ago. But he gives you a lot of upside. 6,500. I think he looks great in DFS and in the betting market because he has really, really long shot odds to win. And that's it. I don't see myself going cheaper than Munoz. So these 4, I think, look strong. You still have 8,300 left to fill it out. Fill out your last 2 spots. So FanDuel plays are pretty much identical to this, but I'll just show you guys the pricing over there. Okay, on FanDuel, no surprise that Dustin Johnson is your most expensive golfer. He's over $12,000. FanDuel is a lot easier to pay out for some studs, and that's what I want to do. Stars and scrubs this week at a no-cut event, I think makes a ton of sense. So I still like Schauffele a ton at 11.7. I like Justin Thomas a bunch. I like McIlroy. I don't think I'll have Cantlay just because I like a few other pieces more than him, but he's been playing well if you wanted to go to him. But I'd rather go to Justin Thomas. And then you have Terrell Hatton at 11,000. We have Victor Hovland at 10.8. Like Hatton a lot. right at 11,000. And then the 10K range, you have Patrick Reed, who hasn't played in a few weeks, but gives you a lot of upside. You have Berger, who got the win a few weeks ago. He looks fine at 10.6. Don't have interest in Morikawa. Is not a guy I usually play. I don't really play Sanjay, especially when he's, when I want to get up to the top end golfers. And then in the 9K range, we have Joaquin Niemann, who I think looks fine. He looks pretty I think he is going to be popular this week. So Niemann looks good. And then you have Max Homa, who's been playing just unbelievably well. He's at 91. There's Zalatoris, really cheap, makes cuts, contends in the top 20s, 10s. He looks fine at 8,800. I like Palmer. I like him a little bit more on DraftKings based on the price tag. Because we have Answer is only 8,100 on Fanduel. He looks really good. I don't know why they have Robert McIntyre, Victor Perez more expensive than Answer. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You have Kisner, also 79. He's a guy I want to get to. And then Munoz is really cheap on both sites. I am definitely going to take a shot on him. He's only 71 on FanDuel. So Munoz Answer, just because he's so cheap. Oops. Munoz Answer. Justin Thomas and Hatton are the four guys I want. All four make birdies at a top 60 in birdie percentage so far this season. All of them have a lot of upside to get you in the top 20, top 10. Justin Thomas, Hatton can win. Maybe Munoz can surprise people. So, yeah, that is it for this week's WGC picks. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tomorrow, and see you all next time.